Hello, good morning. It is about 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. on Sunday, December 28th. December 28th. This week was long, man. It was a full week of no school. We got another full week of Christmas break. But, I look at the book that I read first this week, and I was like, that was this week? Seriously? And I look at some of the books I received this week, and I was like, that was this week? Seriously? Um, but before I start, I am going to run this like I'm going to be running my weekend reviews next year in 2026. So that does mean that we are going to update. Be careful with this here. My physical TBR count. I can update it both after I go through the books that I've read and then after the books I received. Okay, so you may, if you have been keeping up with my Redux 2990 vlogs, which I'm not doing anymore, you may notice that it is down 50 books. I didn't get rid of 50 books. I didn't read 50 books. That 3,000 that I started that one with was a that was an estimation. So I started again at 3,000. Because again, I'm not fucking counting the book wall. I considered it, and I guess it could still happen, between now and the new year. If I ever rebuild the book wall and decide to count it, sure, I'll update that, but I don't think that's going to happen for a very long time. So I started again at 3,000. We're going to update that in this vlog. I do intend on spending a lot less money in 2026, which I think, which will, I guess, obviously help the book thing. But we'll see. I will say, my end of the year hedonism is going strong, and I have a lot of books to haul. But we're going to start with the books that I read. First up, the first thing I finished, I also watched a lot of TV, a lot of stuff. I watched a lot of stuff too. Anyway, the first thing that I finished is The Pink Marine by Greg Cope White. For her kid, this counted for the Even Bigger Rainbow. I counted it for white because it is mostly white. This is what. No, his last name is White. This is White's memoir about his time in the Marines as a closeted gay man in the 70s. Um, and it is what the Netflix show Boots is based off of, very loosely, I think. Just based on what I've seen of clips. I haven't seen it. I don't have Netflix. But I think it's a very interesting memoir. I think it's interesting what he got out of everything, right? Like it's interesting how he came to terms with himself and how even though he was gay and skinny and weak, he wasn't any less of a man and he could still make it through these things. He could accomplish these things that he didn't really think he could, which was interesting. I ended up giving it 4.75 out of 5 stars. I think it's a good book. All right. The next thing I did was I watched the movie The Legend of Sorrow Creek, which came out in 2007. If you look on Letterboxd, everybody hates this movie, but I thought it was charming, so sue me. The Legend of Sorrow Creek follows this group of college kids, basically. I don't know if they're actually in college or if they're just college age, but this group of college kids who go to stay at this cabin that there's a pair of sisters and then their boyfriends, or I guess a pair of sisters, one of their sisters' boyfriends, and then the boyfriend's best friend. They go stay at this cabin, and unfortunately, they stumble upon a cursed like site of a town, and then they all get murdered terribly. So here's the thing, okay? Was there terrible CGI? Yes. Did technically speaking a whole lot happen? No. But I thought it was really charming. Honestly, I thought that the acting from the main two characters, actually, so the one sister and her boyfriend, the acting felt very genuine, and I liked that this man was allowed to sob his heart out. Like he was a very typical early 2000s, like boyfriend horror movie character. He's all I'm saying he's big and big and buff, like sleeveless shirts, low like sagging pants. It's 2007. This it is what it is. But after his best friend died, he sobbed. And I was like, I've never seen a male character be able to sob like that in a horror movie when he wasn't being like actively tortured to death. And that was, you know what? I liked that. And I liked the main girl's thousand yard stare. And you know what? The camera angles were really awkward and weird, but that kind of added to the unsettling nature of the movie. Fuck it. I liked Legend of Sorrow Creek. and Letterboxd, you have no whimsy. That's what I'm gonna say every time somebody doesn't like something I like is no whimsy. Same thing with Poppy Bright. Don't like her, no whimsy. All right. Then I read a book off of my Kindle. I read Alpha House by Thomas Carver. Oh, keep on going with that um Jocks or Jerks series. For this one, I counted it for queer alphabet polyamory, which I don't know if they're really. I don't know if you can call this polyamory in a actual real sense or because this is an erotica series, so he's just sleeping with Logan's just sleeping with everybody. But I'm counting it because I feel like some of those really nitpicky. I read a lot of queer books, but they're not really very complex in their identities in the books I read. So I'm counting it. But the Drugstore Jerk series is a gay erotica series written by Thomas Carver. In the first book, Loudmouth, we follow Logan, who is a radio DJ who loves at his college's radio station, and he just makes fun of athletes basically, and then he ends up uh, becoming very close with the football captain, and lots of stuff happens from there. It's There's a lot going on. It's very specific. Okay, if you start reading it and you don't like it, the rest of the series is like that too. But here's the thing about this series: I've started doing this. I don't know why. It's the thing now. It's what I do now. There. You know what? Fuck it, bro. um, I really like. There's character development in the series, and there's like philosophical quandaries. Nick's development from book one, man, it's going great. I love Logan as the main character. He's such a bitch. Like he's just mean. And I love it. I love it a lot. I love this series. I've read some other stuff by Thomas Carver and it's fine. Nothing has been as good as the Jackster Jerk series, and quite frankly, I wish that he put out paperbacks of them because I would absolutely buy them and put them on my shelf. They're really good. I really like them. Okay. Then I read Let It Snow, which is a set of novellas by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle. For this one, this counted for a kid for Animals for Farm because there was a tiny pig. I know that you don't put teacup pigs on a farm, but a teacup pig is still a pig, and a pig is a farm animal. So I'm counting it for that. Again, animals, some of them I'm kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But Let It Snow, it follows, it's really, it's all set in the same town on like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and a couple days after Christmas, where there has been this massive like blizzard, and there's some people stuck in this town that don't need to be stuck in this town. It's about Christmas holiday romances. We follow a couple different people. It's very cute. This was very big back in the day, back in well, it came out in 2008 or something. And I remember people always talking about it because, especially after The Fault in Our Stars, anything that had John Green's name on it was just skyrocketed into the stratosphere. It's cute. I think it's a nice young adult romance situation. I enjoyed it enough. 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not big on regular young adult romance. That's just cute. Um, it is what it is. The next thing I read was also for Queer Alphabet for Buy or Pan because our character, because Colton is paying is buying here. Bend Him Break Him by M.N. Bennett. Now I think I have another M.N. Bennett book in my haul here, and it's because I'm loving it. I'm loving him. So this follows these two young men who are in college. They're like sophomores in college. And when they were in high school, they knew each other. They both came from this very small conservative town, and Colton, our baseball player here, he was not coming to terms with his bisexuality very well, and he essentially kind of made a deal with Isaac or Goth, where they would kind of hook up, but Colton wasn't ever very nice to him, and then he betrayed him, and now Isaac has it out for Colton. And now they're making another deal where Isaac is not going to tell about Colton's academic dishonesty in return for a little bit of payback. I thought it was really cute. The relationship growth was really cute. Colton, like, I understand he was like kind of terrible in a lot of ways, and he had a history of being terrible. But oh my god, he like when he would get so excited about like Isaac actually liking him. That was adorable. I'm sorry, it was adorable, and I had a good time with it. I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is one. It is very sexually explicit. I wouldn't. I don't. You know what? Is it that much more explicit than is it that much less explicit than Jocks or Jerks? The only difference is that Jocks or Jerks have terrible erotica covers, and this one has a gorgeous illustrated cover. Quite frankly, if I didn't think it would bankrupt me, I would be commissioning the artist for this for one of my book covers. Because look, I love that art. I love the cover art. Um, yeah, I liked it. I liked it. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Again, I have another one of his books in the haul portion. The haul portion is big. I'm going to tell you that right now. I think I mentioned End of the Year Hedonism kicking in. All right, then I watched another movie. I watched 3 movies and an episode of TV, and that's another thing that I will be doing in 2026 is talking about the TV episodes I'm watching rather than waiting until I finish an entire series because it takes me a while. Okay, it takes me years. Okay, I watched a book club. This came out in 2018. It is a comedy about these 4 elderly women who are all in the same book club, and they read 50 Shades of Grey, and it awakens some things in some of them. Uh, I did cry. Okay, I cried a couple times. I think my mom would really like this movie. It was a good time. As you can see, we have some like powerhouses of like old women who used to be like really like big names. Um, I enjoyed it. I thought it was nice. I thought it was nice. It was just nice. It was funny. It was cute. I laughed. Genuinely, the scene where this lady right here, where she is trying to set up like a Bumble profile and she keeps taking pictures of herself, is is funny. It's comedy gold. Um, Also, Jane Fonda here and her boyfriend. So sweet. I enjoyed it. All right. Then I like I said, I watched an episode of TV. I watched the first episode of the Pistol, like biographical little series. Um, do not go up there. You will ruin everything. It's called The Cloak of Invisibility. This series is a like a biographical, semi-biographical series, kind of a la The Dirt, about the Sex Pistols. And I don't know a lot about the Sex Pistols. I don't care a lot about the Sex Pistols. But I have a couple of notes of what I thought of this first episode. First up, I understand A Clockwork Orange just a little bit more. Like I already understood like the general idea and themes of A Clockwork Orange. I'm just talking the setting, because this does take place in like 60s Britain, and it just helped me understand that a bit more. Like it helped me understand like youth culture or like youth delinquent culture in Britain in that time period. Because I think youth delinquent culture in Britain is quite a bit different from youth delinquent culture in America. And granted, I'm from rural North Dakota. I got into no delinquency in my youth. I mean, not saying people don't because they do, but like I'm from rural North Dakota and I got into no delinquency in my youth. But I think we're a little bit, at least in America, a little bit more aware of the American delinquent culture rather than otherwise. So that was interesting. Um, Bitching soundtrack. The Who, Pink Floyd, David Bowie, fantastic. I love how gritty it is. My caveat here is that this could be the TV. I watch everything on a 1994 CRT TV or 1991. I never remember. I had a car. I think it's 94 because I think my car was a 91. It's one or the other. Not anymore. I had a car that was either a 94 or a 91, and the TV's the other. Either way, it's an early 90s CRT color track RCA 20 inches. um, so it could be the TV, but it didn't feel like sometimes when I'm watching really new movies, you can really tell that they were made for a higher aspect ratio. This one didn't feel like that. So that was nice. Again, I don't know much about the Sex Pistols, but I am intrigued. I know obviously the basics about the Sex Pistols, and this does mostly follow, I believe, like their guitarist. Um, that's who our main character was. I believe we meet Johnny Rotten in episode 2, but unfortunately, it will be like 10 years before I watch episode 2. LOL, because it takes me a while. But no, I enjoyed it. I think it was an interesting beginning to a miniseries. It's 6 episodes long, so I look forward to finish watching the next episode whenever that happens. All right, the last book I read last week. Um, The Library at Hellbore by Cassandra Kah. I counted this for a new release for July. Now, for my new release for Her Kid, I'm not entirely doing it as you're meant to. I am actually just kind of reading a new release from 2025 or 2026 whenever the hell I feel like it, because there's no way I'm doing it in time. So, this came out in July. But The Library at Hellbore. Cassandra Kah, I have realized, is like my compromise for knowing that Poppy Z. Wright is not going to be writing really any more full length novels. And in fact, they really only wrote 3 real full length novels. There's like Exquisite Corpse, Lost Souls, and Drawing Blood. I haven't read Drawing Blood yet. Um, but Cassandra Khaw, while Bright does different and I would say probably better things with her characters, and while Bright is willing to make characters who are worse people, because though Khaw does try to do so quite a bit, she always kind of chickens out at the last minute. They have a similar lust for gore that is written in a similar enough way, and I think that's why I like Cassandra Khaw so much. So, the library at Hellbore follows this young woman, and she is kind of this part of this group of people. Now recently, within the past, I believe 20 or 30 years as of this book's beginning, there has been like magic came back, and there have been a lot of people who are like basically world enders, antichrists, death workers, and our main character, she saws men who try to sexually assault her in half and scatters their gore and viscera everywhere. And so she's got gets sent there. And the thing with Hellbore is that you can't make it out until graduation. There's no way out. Unfortunately, at graduation, they learn that that's not that it's guys technically a way out, but the way out is getting eaten. And so the 6 students that escape the dining hall end up barricading themselves in the library and trying to figure out how to get out of there. We follow, like I said, we follow Alessa, our main character. We also have Rowan, and I Rowan was cringe, but Rowan was free, man. I really liked Rowan, even though some of the things he said, I was like, God damn it, Rowan. I had a fun time with it. I had to look up a word every chapter. It was great. I love that. I love that. This is one of those books where you just kind of sink in. You just kind of sink in and you're there in the sticky, gory, bloody mess that it is. And that's the kind of book that I like. Man, I loved this book. I really did. I think it is possible that it might make its way onto my top books of the year. I don't know. I never make that list until December 31st because who fucking knows, right? Right? It's the 28th right now. I'm halfway through a thriller. I could very easily finish that and read another book that would be one of my favorites. But oh yeah, I already said that. 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. I did watch another movie last night. This is gonna work out. Okay. Um, I watched Riding the Bullet, which is a Stephen King adaptation. I believe, don't quote me, this is just my speculation, I didn't look it up. I believe this is one of those dollar babies where like Stephen King would, for a time there, I don't know if he still does or not, give like aspiring filmmakers rights to his stories, short stories for $1. And Riding the Bullet was a short story in Everything's Eventual. We follow this young man who is hitchhiking back to his hometown because his mother is in the hospital because she just had a stroke. And on the way home, he ends up running into a ghost named George Staub, who makes him make a choice. This is a very slow fucking movie. It's about an hour and a half long, but we don't meet George Staub until like an hour in. But it was entertaining. It was like kind of a fever dream. This is another one of those movies where I rated it like 3.5 stars, and then I went on Letterboxd and everybody else rated it 1 star, and I'm like, have some joy, find joy in the weird and the nonsensical. I just love something that doesn't make sense. Okay, I think that's what it is. I love things that don't make a damn lick of sense. And this was a fever dream. I loved Alan's inner Alan. I thought he was really fun, and I thought it was really fun when he was acknowledged. It was interesting. I did miss about 10 minutes of it because it kept skipping and skipping and skipping and skipping and skipping and skipping. And after 10 minutes of it skipping and skipping and skipping and skipping, I did take it out and clean it. And then I neglected to skip back to watch the 10 minutes I had missed, which were definitely plot relevant because I missed the entire introduction of George Staub. But that's okay. I don't know. I gave this again like 3.5 out of 5 stars. And it was fun. It was fun. Sue me. It was a fun time. So we are going to -5 from the TBR. So I'm going to turn that down to 29.96. Don't be too excited. It's not going to stay that low for long. CDs. So let's talk. Sorry, I received. Did I talk? Okay, I'm just gonna redo that. I'm gonna cut that and redo that. When it comes, so I had my camera on the ground, not camera, my mic on the ground. I'm getting rid of these. I'm keeping these. Okay. So, I got a bunch of books and a bunch of CDs. So let's talk about it. Starting off with this first stack here, I've got The Keeper of Magical Things by Julie Leong. I really enjoyed The Tale of Small Fortunes. I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun. Most of all, I thought that the character dynamics were fun. And I've been meaning to pick this up for a long time. And in my hedonistic revelry, I figured it was a good time because I don't know if I'm gonna have the gumption to pick it up next year when I'm more stable. All right. Then I did, since I read the first Discworld book, I did order the next three Discworld books. One of them's not here yet, but two of them are. One of them is Equal Rights. This is a witches book. I am reading them in order. I know they say you shouldn't, but I am. This is book 3. So we got this. We got couple of my CDs. We got Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe. We've got Panic at the Disco's Vices and Virtues. We got Spinny Chair. We got Avenged Sevenfold, City of Evil. All three of those I got at Walmart yesterday, actually, or the day before. I don't remember. I got at Walmart recently. And then I also picked up The Art of Losing by American Hi-Fi. So I have one other CD in here somewhere, but she is. Oh no, there she is. I'll grab her. I'll grab her. I did pick up The Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails. Every year, in around mid-June to about mid-July, I have what I like to call Nine Inch Nails time, which is when the only band I ever want to listen to is Nine Inch Nails. And now this is fine, but I no longer have Spotify Premium, and I couldn't listen to music still, obviously. I just have to deal with ads and stuff, and I only have a certain number of skips, but I haven't really been listening to Spotify. I've only been listening to like my physical media. So I did pick up The Downward Spiral in preparation for next year's Nine Inch Nails time. So the rest of the should all be books. I have From Best to Bested by M.N. Bennett. This is the one that I was talking about. I did pick up another one by Bennett. I have 2 now, with this counting this one to read, which is exciting because again, I did enjoy Bend Him Break Him. I'm going to push you back so I've got room for stuff at the front because again, I have a lot going on. I have Lockdown Escape from Furnace by Alexander Gordon Smith. I did read this previously, but I would like to reread it and then see if I could put it in my classroom because I don't remember if I can or not. So, I picked up A Man Who Defies the World of BL by Koniki, which is it's a funny BL manga following this man who lives in a world of a BL manga, but he's straight. So it just looked like a funny time. I picked up a duology from a author on TikTok. This is a fantasy male romance thing. Book 2 is The Broken King, and book 1 is The Crown Breaker. This is by T.B. Weiss. All right, then picked up My Roommate from Hell by Cale Dietrich. This is one of the authors who wrote If This Gets Out. This is gonna fucking die, isn't it? I keep like just seeing out of the corner of my eye red. So I might have to switch this out at some point. We'll see. And I enjoyed If This Gets Out, so I'm excited for this. I think it looks like a fun time. I also picked up a Circus Horror, One of Us by Dan Kane. Kane is my best guess. I don't know. I should look it up. I haven't. If you know, let me know because I'm probably not going to look it up. But Kane is my best guess. But yeah, Circus Horror. I think it's like 1914 or something. 1915. Sorry. So there's that. Also picked up Nobody in Particular by Sophie Gonzalez in a attempt to maybe balance out a bit the fact that I read about a lot of men. Just balance it out a little bit. The 10th Mistake of Hank Hooperman by Jennifer Choltenko. This is one I know I can put in my classroom, but I kind of want to read it. So I put it in the book wall first. I did I'm Not Proud. Second volume of Your Urgent Bitch Club. It got me, okay? Shut up. And now I am not immune to propaganda because the next 2 things I have. First up, Heated Rivalry. Second up, I had one more CD. I forgot about it. This isn't the first time I've listened to Tattoo, obviously. I remember thinking the music video for 30 minutes was so edgy back in the day. She's like, oh my god, she blew up a merry-go-round. But this is another one of those ones that I've been missing not having Spotify. So again, I'm not immune to propaganda. Picked up The Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Moss. It is the fancy one. I heard it's really bad, but I got off the thrift books. Also picked up Punk's Triangle which is one that I've seen advertised on TikTok 1,000 times. So I finally picked it up in my hedonistic revelry. A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Fancy. Um, this is one that I got for really cheap, I think. I ordered it at the same time I ordered the Terry Pratchett ones, I think, and I needed a little bit more to make it $35, and it was pretty cheap. So there's that. Oh, come on, get back in there. It's a pretty one though. It's a pretty one. And finally, The Light Fantastic. So let's count these up and see how many we got to add. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we are adding 17. I know, it's very sad. So it'll be 30, 13. So I'm going to do that real quick. So at the end of this first new week in review, my TBR is up 13 books. Up 13 books from the beginning. Yeah. And 13 books from last week, because last week was also the beginning. So there's that. I'm going to put all this stuff away. I will talk to you later. I'm going to plug in my microphone. Goodbye. Goodbye. Good week. Long week. Lots of stuff happened. It's okay. Next week's going to be probably pretty similar. Another full week off school. So that's everything. Goodbye.